What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training. And today we're going to be breaking down how you can train like a five-star wide receiver. So we're going to be breaking down some five-star wide receiver film, and we're going to talk about some great drills and workouts you can do to train and take your skills to the next level. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and would like to train with us this offseason, we are going to be coming out to 7 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. Next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to Boston, Massachusetts. That camp is sold out, but then we'll be heading out to Cleveland, Ohio, Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, Newark, New Jersey, Denver, Colorado, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys would like some more information on how you can sign up and attend one of our camps, check out that very first link in the description below, fellas. We'd love to get you out there. Again, very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So now, first router is going to be from a former five-star wide receiver who now is at Texas A&M, Evan Stewart. So one of the things that all five-star guys have is they have a very, very great change of direction at the top of the route. Now, listen, the whole stars ranking, all that stuff, a lot of that's hype, a lot of that's fake. It's not really the most important thing, but you see a lot of these top-tier Power 5 wide receivers have all the things that we're going to discuss in this video in common. And today I want to give you some specific drills that you can do to work on those aspects of the game. So this first example here is like a practice route from Evan Stewart, but I want you to pay attention to the change of direction he has at the top of the break. So when he drops into a route, every single wide receiver obviously knows that on routes, we were trying to make the DB think what? We're trying to make him think I'm running a fade. We're trying to make him think I'm going deep. So he'll backpedal out of there fast, turn his hips and run, whatever the situation might be. So while you're running full speed at the break point, we cannot waste any time by slowly dropping into the break. Because when you have a good amount of speed going into a break and you don't have a violent change of direction, you're not going to be able to put the brakes on or make a sharp cut. So you watch Stewart, he has exactly that. There's no indicator. It is the same speed into the break and the same speed out of the break. So at the break point, like we said, he needs that violent hip drop. So these are 2 drills that we're going to show here that you can do to work on that aspect of your game. So for this first drill, you're going to need a partner. And what you're going to do is you're going to lean into your partner, and their partner is going to have your shoulders or his hands on your shoulders. Now, this is simulating the good pad level that you want to have leading up into a break. When you're running a route and you're trying to sell vertical, it comes down to a couple things. You need speed, like we said. You obviously need to run in full stride. You don't want to shorten your stride, but you also need good body language. We do not want to raise my chest up before I drop my hips. Let's go back to that clip of Evan Stewart. Right before the break point, there is no change in his pad level. He maintains the same slight forward lean. If a DB is watching his hips, there is no indicator, no change with his pad level. He just drops into the break. That's what this next drill is going to be for. So again, you're going to lean into your partner. Now, randomly, your partner is going to let go of you. He's just going to move his hands and just simply let you fall. But when you fall, you are going to snap down and use that trigger step that we need at the top of the break. So it kind of forces you to have that level change. It forces you to have to be violent because when he lets go of you, you're going to feel like you're going to fall flat on your face. So you better drop down violently. And it just works on strengthening that exact same position that you can do. So this is a great drill, fellas, to work on that violent change of direction and that violent hip drop, but more importantly, focused on maintaining a good pad level leading into the break. So now, the second drill that I want to talk about here is going to work on you guys changing levels while running in full stride. So when you're selling vertical, obviously there's 3 things that a DB is going to kind of pay attention to, right? His eyes are obviously on your hips watching your pad level, which is why the last drill was so great. But he's also going to be reading your speed. So let's say, for example, you're running like a curl route and the DB's off, or maybe the DB's even right next to you in man coverage. If you run up and let's say the break's at 12 yards and then at 10 yards, you start chopping your stride. You start taking these real choppy steps and then break. Those choppy steps let the DB know a break is coming, because wide receivers take those choppy steps in order to prepare themselves for the break. Because honestly, when you slow yourself down, dropping your hips is a lot easier. It just doesn't sell the route as long as possible. So when you are running in full stride, you need something called a level change, which essentially means that you need to drop your hips, drop your butt, and change levels. So that's what this drill is going to work on. It's very easy for me to sit here and say, hey, don't chop your steps before the break. And we do talk about that. But what can I do to work on not chopping my steps before the break? And that's what this drill is for. So pretty much what you're doing is you're coming out nice, easy, high knees, just like you've done a million times. And then when you get up to a cone, you are going to have that violent level change and drop straight down. So how this drill should be structured is you have a starting point, you have the first cone, and then you have a second cone. So you're going to go high knees to the first cone, drop, high knees to the second cone, drop as soon as you get to the cone. So when we come off the high knees, the reason why we do it is because when you're doing high knees, your knees are getting up. That's how it's going to be when you're running in full stride. Obviously, maybe not that high, but when you're running in full stride, you're definitely getting your knees up. And it makes it very, very difficult to change direction, change levels when you have that stride length. But this drill gets us comfortable with the level change. So again, high knees, fast hands, fast feet, and you are dropping straight down. You are shooting your butt down like you're sitting in a chair. Like a good analogy is like, think of it like you guys have probably all played that like musical chairs game before, right? And like when the music stops, you have to sit down. You have to sit down quickly. That's kind of how you want to think of the break point. You want to sit down quickly and violently when you get to the break point, because both of these drills translate to that actual route. And they're simple drills. They don't require any space. The second drill maybe requires 7 to 8 yards. The first drill maybe requires a yard or two. So those are two great drills to work on that violent change of direction, which is what they're looking for at wide receivers at the next level. DBs are so freaking talented at the next level, fellas, that you have to look for any little thing that's going to help you get separation. You could have speed, you could sell your routes, but if you can't get in and out of your routes and decelerate, you will not be able to create separation. And that's what these two drills are for. Okay, so now the second thing that all, 5-star, Power 5 wide receivers all are very, very good at is making tough catches. And a lot of that, like we get asked a million questions about a million different types of catches. Coach, how can I make, that 50-50 jump ball catch? How can I make a diving catch? How can I catch a low pass, a high pass? Some people will ask, like, how can I help with one-handed catches? And all those are great questions to ask, and there are definitely things that you can do to work on that element of things. But the number one key to every single catch you make is hand-eye coordination and looking the ball in, trying to locate the ball, trying to find the ball coming off the quarterback's hand. So I'm going to play this example. This is from 5-star wide receiver Brandon Inniss, who is going to Ohio State. And this is a great example of him winning on this fade ball, tight coverage, goal line, having to toe tap with his feet. And again, requires hand-eye coordination to make this type of catch. So this next drill we're going to discuss is a great drill for that. So what you're going to do, you need a partner to stand behind you to throw to you. I'm going to give you a tennis ball version of this drill in a second. But what you are going to do is your partner is going to throw the ball, and as soon as you see him let go of the ball, as soon as the ball comes off of his hand, you're going to be in a position to start out looking over your right shoulder, looking at your partner. As soon as you see the ball come off his right hand, you are going to snap your head around and look over your left shoulder, which is where he is going to be putting the ball. Now, he could put it low, he could put it a little high, he could put it right on. The key is to mix it up. But this helps us snap my head around and locate the ball when there's that split second where I can't find the ball. This helps me with a deep pass. This helps me with quick passes. Like, let's say, for example, you got a press coverage DB. You give him a move. You take off on a fade, but you got to keep your head down to separate. Quarterback already throws the ball. This helps you locate the ball. Let's say you're running like a 10-yard out and you're in traffic. You make that break. Quarterback throws it before you get your head around. This helps with you snapping your head around and locating the ball. So let's play this full speed. So as soon as he lets go of the ball, that's when you snap your head around, and that's when you find this thing to secure it. It's tough. This is a tough drill. It takes some time to get used to it. Now, let's look at the second example here. Ball's thrown, snap the head, find and locate this ball. But it is very, very important that when that ball hits your hands, you are taking a photo of it with your eyes. Focus on something on the ball. Focus on the stripe. Maybe put numbers on the point of the ball. Something that you got to try to look at on that football that forces you to look it in. And that's how you get the most out of this drill. But fellas, if you want to be able to play at the next level, you have to be reliable with your hands. Now, again, I'm not talking like college coaches, especially at the Power 5 level, are not going to want to see guys who, run routes and they could just catch a slant or a post with nobody around them. They're going to want to see the guys who can make the jump ball catches, the deep fades, catches in traffic, catches while you're getting hit. But the number one thing that remains consistent with every single catch is going to be this point right here, looking that ball in and taking that picture. Okay, fellas? So now, moving on. Now, this next example here, with these 5-star type guys, when they run routes, there's a lot of creativity to their routes. And I'm going to give you guys a simple kind of like press release drill that you can do to work on a form of hesitation on a route. So at the next level, whether that's Power 5 or whether that's any college football level, Division 3, Division 2, whatever level you play at or you may end up playing at, the DB talent gets a lot better, fellas. That's just fact of the matter how it is. You go run up against the best DBs in the country. They're no longer high school DBs that are just receivers who can't catch. These are all guys who have been coached. So with your routes, you have to add some creativity to your routes. You have to change up tempo. You have to work different hesitation moves. Now, this first rider from this this wide receiver is an example of just like a little hesitation skip, throwing a move and getting some separation on this DB. Now, do I like that in the middle of the route? I'm not the biggest fan of that in the middle of the route. However, there are times where off the line, you change up tempo so the DB doesn't get your timing down. Right? So because if you're just coming at the DB over and over again, same speed, same move, same thing over and over, he's eventually going to be able to predict it. However, if you can change up the tempo on a certain move, that might get you a little bit more separation. So this next example here is a press release that I'm working, and it's a very simple way to work on a hesitation skip. Now, this does not mean that you have to do this specific release all the time. It's just a way to work on it, because I think the best way to get better at press releases is by working on the press release. And the best way to get better at certain moves is by working on the move. So the tempo of this release, I'm going to be running a goal line fade here, and we're working a situation where DB's maybe like 3 to 5 yards off in front of me. So the steps on this release, it's going to be like a 5-step release. So I'm going to play this full speed. So I come off, take a little hesitation into a crossover, head down, and then go to this fade ball. Now, the thing about this is that when you do this move, you could do a lot of things off of this hesitation skip. I just want you to pay more attention to the skip portion, because that's what changes tempo. So the steps on this: left foot is up, you come off the ball, you go right, take a step with the left, then you take 2 steps with the left, excuse me. So you go right, left, left, and then you hit a crossover move. Now, I know that might seem confusing, but that is the hesitation skip or the hesitation hop that can kind of change the tempo and put the brakes on the DB a little bit. And again, I always thought this was something that you couldn't teach. I've kind of changed the way I've thought on this a little bit, just because I feel that this is easy to get down if you think about it this way. So you come off the ball, instead of just me thinking, okay, I'm going to take a hop and a skip, just think of it like 2 back-to-back steps with your left foot, or if you're going the opposite way, with your right foot, right? So you come off the ball again. It's here. You go right, left, left, right, left, and hit the crossover. Now, you could do this, and you could take that same little hesitation skip, and you could just throw one hard move to the outside and run in. You could do this hesitation skip further downfield in the route. It's just a different way to change up the tempo and change up the speed. Because let's go back to that first example here, this wide receiver. Again, highly recruited guy, and watch what he does with his left foot. Instead of it being his first inside step, he does it on his second inside step. He goes hop, hop, lands, and throws this cross. So he takes 2 steps with the left foot. A lot of people, untrained eye, will just think, oh, he's running, and then he takes this little hop and skip. When you do that hesitation, you have to have balance. You have to be able to explode into the route, and it's got to be efficient. It's got to be somewhat fast. So thinking about it like a double step is an easy way to do this. I started doing this with the receivers that I work with, thinking about it like it's 2 back-to-back steps, and they've gotten way more comfortable changing up tempo. It doesn't feel like they have to run out, stop themselves, and then go back into the release. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. Again, double hop is a great press release that you guys can work on that change of direction and that hesitation element. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out and train with us in 7 more states this offseason, from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way to Los Angeles, California, every single camp will sell out, fellas. Our Cleveland and Austin camp have maybe 2 or 3 spots left. Same with our Seattle and Newark camp. So again, very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you out there, fellas. I'll see you guys next time.